we're going to look at the Red Goblin kit. I don't know how I feel about it. I'll be straight up. Like, I'm worried about the speed. I don't think he's going to be a good plug-and-play character. But he does provide a lot of extra damage to the team. He does provide healing, and he has a revive mechanic, and he has a way of putting taunts on, let's say, Venom. Let's get into the kit. We'll go over it. On spawn, gain charge, and charge is going to be the way that he revives. Apply defense up for 2 turns, and 2 deflect to self and all hive mind allies. Now, this is kind of the part that I wish it wasn't in raids. In raids, apply taunt for 2 turns to the highest health hive mind allies. So that becomes like a pre-taunting tank. In my testing, that was typically Venom, and also the strike time video showed Venom as well. But when you're not in raids, this doesn't proc until Red Goblin takes a turn, and he's super slow, 107 speed. He does have a way of getting turn meter when certain things trigger, like Forge does, but it's kind of, well, we'll get into it. On turn, heal for 20% of this character's max health, apply 2 deflect and taunt for 2 turns to the highest health hive mind ally. So not in raids. This is going to happen late in the match. I'm just saying it doesn't happen right away because he's 107. If charged, revive 1 dead symbiote ally with 60% max health and lose charge. So he has only 1 revive. It is different than the revive once mechanic because it's charged. And so to remove charge from characters, you got to do something like Quicksilver special. Okay, when this character or a hive mind ally drops below 50% max health, if that character has taunt, do the following to that character. Clear taunt, apply safeguard, and 2 death proof. Fill this character for speed bar. So what was happening in the raids is that it would, in raids, like Venom would spawn with taunt, they would burst him down, and then immediately this would proc right here, which was great. And then he could heal and do stuff, right? But not in raids. It doesn't happen. Nobody has taunt. And so I was finding that Red Goblin was going super late, where in raids, he actually got to go pretty early because of this fill speed bar by 30%. On death of a hive mind ally, fill this character speed bar by 25%. When an enemy takes damage from bleed, apply deflect up to a maximum of 5 to all hive mind allies. And then this is huge. Probably the most important thing about his kit. Gain 60% damage. Hive mind allies gain 60% damage. And then gain 25% block amount. Hive mind allies gain 25% block amount. So the thing about hive mind and Carnage passive is that they seem to fall like dominoes. Your opponent, that is. Once you get that snowball or dominoes start falling, it really takes off. And that damage is important. When they go from yellow to red, and Carnage passive kicks off and they start getting turn meter, and it just goes and goes and goes. And in raids, boss node, that this team was fine. No problems whatsoever, and it worked well. And that's largely because of the damage that Red Goblin brings to the team. And the damage is meaningful. Now, damage, on the other hand, is the first type of skill or ability or trait, whatever you want to call it, that gets power crept. And I feel like, as character kits, get power crept, if they can't get a character into red, they don't get the turn meter, and it doesn't get started. So let's get into the ultimate. And the ultimate was a lot of fun, actually. If this character does not have trauma, transfer 5 negative effects from each hive mind ally to self, excluding stun. In raids, copy 5 negative effects from self to each enemy. So he puts it all back on them, which is wild. Clear all negative effects from self. Heal 5% of this character's max health and 15% per negative effect cleared. And then this is where it's important. Attack all enemies for 320% damage, plus 125% additional damage per negative effect on the primary target. Apply slow for 2 turns. This was huge on Black Cat on the bio boss node. She doesn't go down quickly. and she starts getting tons and tons of negative effects on her, and then the final wave drops, and then either Carnage can come in and just go crazy, or Red Goblin can go crazy, and this is a meaningful amount of damage. In raids, prolong the duration of all negative effects on all enemies by 1. Apply 2 regeneration for self and all symbiote allies. This attack is unavoidable. Now, oftentimes I would do the special first, like if Venom got burst down and there was lots of negative effects on it. Attack primary and adjacent targets for 400% damage. Apply defense down for 2 turns and 2 blades. In raid, apply trauma for 2 turns to primary and adjacent targets. Clear all negative effects from all allies. So that works great as long as they don't have trauma. Heal self and all allies for 30% of this character's max health. Apply 2 regeneration to self and all hive mind allies. So I was finding quite often, turn 1, I was doing this first, because let's say Venom gets the taunt and then Venom gets burst down, either dies or he doesn't die. And then you can heal up the team and you can take away the negative effects. Now, also, that being said, this is more impactful the more negative effects are out there because the damage ramps up. So it doesn't always make sense to do the ultimate before the special. I found sometimes I was doing the special before the ultimate. Now let's talk about the basic. Attack primary and adjacent targets for 350% damage applied to bleed. Gain 2 regeneration, apply 2 regeneration to the most injured hive mind ally. Now, the ISO attack, which is not found any game or anywhere for that matter, other than in the blog post that this comes out on and in this video. So ISO 8, counterattack and assist. It looks like it mirrors. Attack primary adjacent targets for damage. 17% piercing, apply 2 bleed, gain 2 regeneration, apply 2 regeneration to the most injured hive mind ally, which kind of makes sense for Striker. But I got to say on this team right here, I feel like Gwenom being Striker and Venom being Striker are no brainers. Absolutely. Venom gets speed bar and Gwenom gets ability energy, and you really want that to happen. Like, you don't want it wasted on Red Goblin. I don't feel like this is nearly as important as a Venom's or Gwenom's ISO 8 counter assist. Now, I did healer. I think I could also make a case for Raider because there, he hits a lot of multiple targets. This hits multiple targets. I feel like Raider is probably going to be my initial choice. Now, there is a heal mechanic right here, so healing does matter. We got heal right here on the special for the team. He can heal himself on the ultimate, and then his passive also has a heal for himself. So all my testing was done with healer. I don't know. Healer or Raider probably are going to be the right choice. Now, I want to talk about what's annoying about all of this. Super slow, 107. It's just so slow. Yeah, he can get turn meter, but here's the thing. Some of the turn meter is only tied when the characters have taunt. So the taunt is not going to start working outside of raids until he takes a turn. But in raids, they spawn with taunt. I just feel like if it didn't have this in raids, apply taunt for 2 turns, like if this worked everywhere, it would be effectively like a pre-taunt on, let's say, Venom or whatever your highest health hive mind ally. And this is gonna bounce around once he takes a turn, and I felt like it was super effective. So let's talk about the elephant in the room. Is he a plug and play character? No, he's not a plug and play character. I feel like Void Knight is a plug and play character, and Void Knight is quite good. Is this a good raid team? Yes. Is he better than Super Skrull? Yes. Is this team going to see use outside of raids? And maybe. I actually think they might, but it's going to be so dependent on power levels. I think that this team is going to see use on offense, especially against teams that have minions. I mean, that's the way Carnage always worked in the past anyways. But if you're able to burst them down and get that first character into red, go from yellow to red, and Carnage starts popping off, it actually can work. And this 60% damage is beyond helpful in doing that. I think I tested this against a baby Apocalypse, King, and 3 Horsemen, Morgan Le Fay, Rogue, and Red Hulk. And I could win, which really blew my mind. So I don't think the team is garbage outside of raids. I feel like it's going to be an okay team in Alliance War, an okay team in Cosmic Crucible, a useful team perhaps, specifically on offense if there's a situation where you can get through a character quickly into red and get that turn meter starting. Didn't do a lot of testing, but that's my best guess. Also, all of this is beta gameplay footage on the test server, which is subject to change. Let me know what you think in the comment section. And as always, thanks for watching. Keep on gaming. Bye for now.